Alexander, why do you think True Blood has become such a cultural phenomenon?
Well, I think it's an interesting take on the whole vampire phenomenon and the world that, well, first Charlene Harris created with the books, and then Ellen Ball now on the show is. It's quite interesting when you have vampires living in coexistence with humans. They kind of came out of the closet 2 years ago and said that, yes, we're here, but don't be alarmed, we can live in coexistence. We have this true blood, the synthetic blood, and everything that creates in fear and prejudice and from both sides. It creates interesting drama, I think.
Do you think that the whole story is a metaphor for other social conflicts?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the whole story is a metaphor, but you can definitely draw parallels to minority groups in our society for sure, and how they struggle for equal rights in different areas.
How much have you grown as an actor, from the fact that you're being part of a show that is weekly, and are you building up your muscles, your acting muscles?
Well, yeah, I've never done a show like that. I've done a miniseries. I did a miniseries also for HBO called Generation Kill 2 years ago, and the way we shot that was more like shooting a feature. We spent 21 days an episode for that one, and you got all your 7 scripts before you even started it, so you had everything. You knew like the arc of the character and the show. This is the first time I work on something where when you start the season, you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season. You don't even know what's going to happen 2 episodes from now. As an actor, you just basically have to go with the flow, and you get a script, and all right, so this is what we're doing now. And it's a different process. It definitely is, not knowing where you're going. So, and also the pace of it is very different. We shoot an episode in 2 weeks here. So you got to be on your toes here.
How difficult is it to keep the same the same emotional level, or since you shoot weeks in apart?
Well, when you do that, you just have to make sure that you find the character, and you can stand up and defend your character, and you know who he is and what he wants and how he would react in different situations, and then you just have to be flexible and adapt to the script and figure out, all right, how would Eric deal with a situation like this? And yeah, like I said, you can't really plan the arc the way you do when I work on a feature or a miniseries, where you actually can I'm going to bring it down a little here because then we have this scene coming up, and you can't really do that here. You just have to play it by ear, I guess.
There's something very erotic about vampires. Can you comment on that? Why do they symbolize sex and erotism and pleasure?
Well,
but they also symbolize death sometimes, or cruelty, or
yeah, and it's I think it's the combination of that those mixed feelings that can be kind of attractive, I think. They didn't used to be attractive before Polidori wrote Vampire in like the 1820s, I think it was. Vampires were kind of these cruel, weird creatures, and then when he wrote that book, that was the first time they were portrayed as being like, like Lord Byron, very sophisticated, and it was easier for people or for the audience to connect with the characters, the vampires, and I think that stuck, and it's been like that. After that, you had Dracula and all these shows, and up till True Blood now. And I think the attraction is you have something that is immortal and represents eternal youth, but then, like you said, at the same time,
without a facelift.
Yeah, right? Without a facelift, without having to use Botox and all that stuff. It's forever. But then at the same time, because that's alluring and intriguing, and you want to get close to that, because it also radiates confidence and experience, which is sexy. But then at the same time, that thing can also be lethal. It's a predator, and that creates good drama when you have that attraction. But you also know that if this goes wrong, I'm done for. I'm dead.
Do you see Eric as a villain?
People, especially after season 1, because you didn't really get to know Eric that well in season 1. I think most people saw him as a villain and the evil vampire. To me, he's not. There's so much more to him, and I think hopefully now in season 2 people will realize that he's got another dimension and a couple of more dimensions than just being the bad guy. He does have a sensitive side and a very loyal side. He's just, he's been around for 1,000 years, so he's just not that impressed by humans. And that can come across as arrogance, I guess. But, he doesn't play games. If he's not interested in you, why would he waste his time?
Would you like to be undead, be here forever?
No, to me that's kind of a scary thought. I don't know. I'm pretty happy the way it is now.
You want to evolve and to age?
Yeah, I'm actually, strangely enough, even though I live in Los Angeles, I'm not scared of growing old and I've never had a crisis because I'm going old and growing old and all that. Yet, we'll see what happens. I'm not that old yet.
That's great. I think we did 10.
That's 6.5. Right?
6.5. Okay, let's go because my and.
Oh,
okay. How important is the writing when it comes to deliver this great character or characters?
No, it's very important, and but after a while, you get to know each other. The writers of the show. By now they know all the actors, they know the characters, and so it's kind of it's easier after a while because they know how you would use words, how you would put them together as your character, and then they will write it after that, basically.
You were just mentioning that you're shooting something in that area in the south of the U.S. or another movie.
Yeah, we're on hiatus now. We just wrapped season 2 and. Of True Blood. We don't know yet if it's going to get picked up for a 3rd season. The ratings are really good, so I would be very surprised if they cancel the show. But we're officially on hiatus now for a few months. I'm going out to Shreveport, actually, where Eric's club is, to shoot a movie now.
Is it easy for you to forget Eric after being working?
I'll never forget Eric. He's always a part of me.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
And what's the impact of the success of the show on you as an actor?
I've never experienced a phenomenon like this before. It's kind of overwhelming. The response and how people have embraced the show and how fanatic some of them are. It's crazy. It's very flattering, of course.
Many people, they haven't watched TV in many years, and now they're back thanks to this show.
Yeah.
Do you feel that responsible for it in a way? Well, you're
you
part
mean
of
moving
it.
forward now?
No, many people
that
who
would be a burden?
No, many people who didn't care about TV, they're now hooked to television.
Well, that's that's amazing, and I'm very flattered. I don't feel, if we start a 3rd season soon, I don't feel that you can't think about that at all. You just got to continue, because we're having a blast, and I don't want to feel a pressure that we need to do something to please people. As long as we're having a blast and we please ourselves, I think we're on the right track.